Ryan Archer, you're the new constable, RCMP constable here in Kaslo. Welcome to the talk show.
Thank you.
And welcome to Kaslo. You've been here for how long now?
I've been here for about a month now.
And what do you think?
So
of
far,
the town?
so far it's a beautiful town and enjoying it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ryan, how long have you been in the RCMP force?
Just about 6 years, coming up on 6 years this year.
Oh yeah? Where are you from?
Grew up on Vancouver Island.
Oh yeah?
It's a small town called Sayward. That's in the northern part of Vancouver Island.
And then then you graduated high school and went from there to
Yeah.
RCMP?
Yeah.
Like straight or did you do anything in between?
I did 3 years of college in Nanaimo at Malaspina, and then pretty well right from there went into training.
And what made you want to become a police officer?
It's kind of something that I always wanted to do.
Oh, yeah?
Definitely as a little kid I wanted to be a police officer and kind of moved away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got older and in high school I had to think about what I wanted to do with my career and went back to a police officer and went from there, and that's what I took in college, took criminology, so kind of prepared.
Oh yeah, well that's good. So 6 years, and so where have you worked so far?
My whole time has been in Port Alberni. So
Oh really?
Also on Vancouver Island, so.
And how come you got to stay for 6 years? Don't you normally move around 3 or 4 years after?
Usually you can get away with maybe 7 or 8.
Oh really?
Yeah, for here it's 3 years. They tell you right at the beginning you're here for 3 years, but.
Just because it's bigger, Port Alberni, that's why maybe? Or?
Yeah, any small town's usually limited, and they'll tell you how long you're there, so you know right off the bat. But for Port Alberni, I mean, I could have been there for 3 years if I wanted out sooner, or I could have stretched out for maybe a couple more anyways.
Mm-hmm. How was it? Like, what did you think about, because that was your first posting then, right?
It was a good place to learn, very good place. There's, a variety of work there, and I mean, if I were to come here and try to learn, like, you don't get the exposure to the different type of crimes and stuff like that, so it'd be tough to learn here, but Port Alberni was good for that.
Uh-huh. So how big of a detachment was there?
There's just about 50 members there, so.
50? 50?
50, yeah.
Wow.
So
that was big.
Definitely a larger detachment, and larger than Kaslo.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a lot bigger.
That's great. And so, you've been here for a month.
Yeah.
And then you were 6 years in Port Alberni. Is there any sort of differences or similarities that you could say between the two, or?
Definitely a different pace here. I mean, in Port Alberni, it's pretty well go, 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 and you're going from file to file, and here it's definitely different.
But is it also, do you think it's better, like, because there's only 3?
Yeah.
So I don't know how it worked there with 50 members, but whenever you have an investigation or you open up a file, you follow it all the way through, the same police officer?
For the most part, any major file, someone might come in and take it over for, a homicide, for example. Someone would take over that file.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the stuff in Port Alberni, I would, follow through right to the end. So, I mean, and that's the same here.
Mm-hmm.
Same type of thing.
But different crimes when you were saying that, so just, do you think we have less? I mean, obviously we have less people, right? So then maybe we have less crime. But the degree of crimes, is it better, worse? I don't know if you can use those words for crime, but...
Well, I guess in the way crime goes, it'd be better here. You don't have the violent crime like you would there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is, but not to the same extent.
What kind of crimes did you go through, like there? What kind of files would you have had?
A lot of violent crimes, a lot of alcohol-related crimes, domestics and things like that.
Compared to here, where do you think we generally have? I know we have some domestics.
Yeah, they're going to get that wherever you go, but hasn't been a whole lot of crime here, but I've been a few property-related stuff. So, mischief with the kids and stuff like that.
Right.
Nothing too major.
We used to have a dare officer here at the Kaslo detachment.
Yeah.
Or do we have one now? Do you know?
I believe Chris is trained in dare.
Oh yeah.
He's a dare officer.
So he'll do that thing at the school.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself. So you're here in Kaslo by yourself, right?
Yeah. Single guy.
I was going to bug you, so maybe it'll be like Luco, he found love in the Kootenays.
Yeah. He go out of town to find love though.
Yes.
Importer from Nelson, I think.
Yeah, or Trail or Castlegar or somewhere.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And your family's still out on the island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all in Campbell River now, so.
And then what made you choose Kaslo?
Actually, I never heard of Kaslo until I started looking about where I wanted to go, but I grew up in a small town, so I kind of made up my mind I wanted to try a small town, try some small town policing. So I started looking where I wanted to go, and basically growing up on Vancouver Island, and then my first posting being there, I decided it was time to get off. So decided I'd like to come out to the Kootenays, and then started looking around at the small towns in the Kootenays, and ended up in Kaslo. So
How big was your town that you grew up in?
it's about 1,000 people.
Oh, so very close to Kaslo then.
Yeah, but the thing that amazes me, the amenities they have here compared to Sayward, where I grew up.
Really?
The golf course here, and the arena, and even things like the bank, and
Because there was none there?
No, everything was out of town. It was basically a little store, and that was it. So.
Really? So where would you have had to go to do all your business stuff for shopping?
Nearest town was Campbell River, and that
Okay.
was almost an hour away. So.
And here we complain.
Yeah, you got no right.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about what you think about policing. Do you have any philosophies around policing, or how it fits in a small town, or?
It's definitely different in a small town. It's more community policing and community oriented and problem solving. In Port Alberni, it was you'd go and you put out a fire and move on to the next one. And here it's, it's more about the people than about the crime.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you think that, why is it that there's only a timeline for police officers to stay in one place?
I'm not sure what the rationale is.
I always thought maybe because then you become closer, because it's such a small population, right? You can't
Yeah.
help but have like close relationships with some people.
Yeah, I mean that would make it tough as well. So that's probably the reason for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's super. Well, thank you very much for your time.
All right.
And welcome to Kaslo, and I'm sure we'll hook up with you again.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.